I've seen it in too many other people's lives do it, not just with healing, with abundance and with opportunities and mystical experiences and all kinds of new things that are happening for people that are really pretty cool.
Hello and welcome to the Pacific Channel, where you learn about the law of attraction, how to manifest anything you want, meditation, and more. In this video, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about healing and how to heal yourself. He talks about how it's important to understand the why and the what of the work. And if you don't, then you can't be present during your meditation. He also talks about how important it is to feel the feeling of already being healed before it's true. And how if it's not working, you just have to keep practicing at it. And also how your job is to maintain that elevated emotional state that you got from the meditation during the entire day. And he also goes into detail about how the mechanics of feeling good first works. Without further delay, let's listen to Dr. Joe.
If things aren't working for me and I'm not producing outcomes, two things are really important to me. When I get stale and I don't have those great moments, or I'm not creating in the way that I want, I always go back to learning again. I think it's so important to understand the what and the why. Like, this is for me really, really, really important. That if I can review information, I can review content, and I can review the science and what I'm going to do when I'm there and what I'm not going to do when I'm there, that I need brain and heart coherence to have an electromagnetic signature. Am I creating from matter instead of the field? Am I creating from field instead of the matter? How do I do that differently? These are questions that I think help us in our think box to really weigh what we know against what we don't know. And if there's a hole in my model or something's missing, I think it's really healthy to look it up and figure it out and get that model complete. It may not be the ultimate truth, but it's at least the truth that's going to get me to the next experience. Okay, so people, a lot of times, they experiment with the work, but in a way, there's a lot of conjecture, there's a lot of superstition, there's a lot of dogma mixed in there because they haven't taken the time to learn the what and the why. And not that any of that's bad, I just think that leads us to doubting that it really could happen. So having knowledge as the forerunner to experience allows us to assign meaning to the act. And assigning meaning to the act means you turn on your prefrontal cortex, and your prefrontal cortex is really going to silence the circuits in your brain that are going to really say that you can't, or it's too hard, or this doesn't work, or whatever. The frontal lobe says silence. Right now I got to actually think about what I'm about to do. And for the greatest value, to set an intention, right? So another thing that happens for people is when they don't understand the what and the why, and they're still doing their meditations, they're not present in their meditations. They're thinking about everything else, but they do the meditation, but they're truly not in the present moment, mastering those moments. Their mind's all over the place, or they fell asleep, or whatever. There's a lot of reasons why that happens, but if you're truly present with the act, if you're so present with the act that the act is actually creating an experience for you, you would begin to change your energy and you would begin to change your emotional state. So the second thing that happens for a lot of people when they're not producing those outcomes is that they're not present. And I say to people when they say to me, hey, I did this meditation for 4 days or 5 days and nothing happened. And I say, yeah, I understand. Yeah, I've worked on certain things that might take me months to finally change my energy in the right way. And the answer is, just like anything else, you got to keep practicing. You got to get better at it. And how do you get better at it? Gain the knowledge, come to a week long, do the progressive, get up and show up again, and make a decision when you do your meditation that this is the day where that belief that no synchronicities are happening are going to change. Take a chance, Make a decision that day when you do your meditations with a level of energy that's going to cause your body to respond to your mind, that you're going to change, that you are actually going to tune into a synchronicity or an opportunity and really do it. Instead of look for it in your day, just relax into the fact that you're open to possibility and just keep one foot in the real world and just keep another foot in that quantum world, in that realm of possibilities. And you can get better at it. And as you get good at it, you start to see those outcomes. And so I can't say it doesn't work. I've seen it in my own personal life that it does. I've seen it in too many other people's lives do it, not just with healing, with abundance and with opportunities and mystical experiences and all kinds of new things that are happening for people that are really pretty cool. We know it works. It's just that then get a little playful, get a little creative, open that heart of yours a little bit more, feel the feeling of what it would feel like in your heart if you started having synchronicities in your life and fall in love with that feeling and feel more of that and less of the feeling that nothing's happening in your life. And teach your body what that future will feel like and feel it completely, wholeheartedly, with all of your heart. And hold the intention with a coherent brain that whatever it is that you want, that you're just becoming aware of it. It already exists in this unlimited field. And feel the frequency of that thought and send the signal out from your brain. So practice evolving your experience of creation. And how do you do that? You just gain more knowledge and information. You practice over and over again and remember what you're doing and why you're doing it. You stay present when you do it. So present when you're doing it that you get up feeling differently than when you started. Then your job is to maintain that state your entire day. The experiment changes. If I do, then I can't say in my waking day, why am I having synchronicities? They would be back to the old person again. The new person would be too busy, lost in the energy. And if it didn't happen in one day, they would understand they do it again. And the more they're conscious of that energy, the more they're creating those opportunities for them. And so, again, can't do it in your meditation and then get up and say, why isn't it here yet? That's going back to the identity or personality that's in that state of lack of not having it. If you truly feel the feelings of what it feels like with our eyes open, we can't actually look for it any longer. We're no longer separate from it. Why would we look for it if we feel like it's already happened? And that's that state of worthiness. We are worthy to receive. It's no longer separate. And I've overcome the belief that I can't have it, can't have synchronicities or whatever. I swear to you, if you take it on like that, so many other areas of your life will change in the most wonderful and mysterious ways because you changed. Having a kidney disease or any other disease for that matter, and having a rare disease, to throw that in there, challenges a person in a great way. And I have such incredible respect, and I mean that in the utmost sense, for the people in this work that have healed themselves from health conditions. They're my heroes. I mean, I want to know what they know, and I want to listen to every single word that they say because they're speaking the truth on some level. I listen over and over again, and the stories are always about coming up against themselves, coming up against their doubt, coming up against their beliefs, coming up against their fears, coming up against their pain, and not being able to get beyond their own pain, to be able to think greater than how they're presently feeling is always the challenge, because you come back and you don't feel good in your body. It's really hard to feel anything else or think anything else that's not equal to that feeling. And that's a labor. It's a labor of love to be able to get beyond that. And so many people say, well, the first thing is, God, nobody's ever healed from this condition. Or I can't tell you how many people I've heard say, my doctors told me I was going to have the rest of my life, or I was going to have 3 months to live, or too far gone, start getting your affairs in order and all that stuff. And the person had to really, really make a decision in that moment. And that decision really was one of those decisions that was a defining moment in their life. That they were making the decision with an amplitude of energy that was greater than the fear of what the doctor told them. They were making a decision to believe in this future as a possibility with a level of energy that was greater than the feeling of doubt that they live by every single day. That the decision was to change something about themselves with a level of energy that caused their body to respond to their mind. And for some reason in that moment when they made the decision, they noticed a change in their pain. They came out of their resting state. And it's really hard for people to think greater than how they feel, especially when they have a condition. But there is always a key to this. And it is a function of how we feel when something great happens to us, how we feel when we are surprised in the light of somebody giving something to us that we really like, that we really value, or something going our way in our day where you kind of nod your head and you say, God, I knew that was going to happen. That's worthy to receive. I knew it was going to happen. The signature of that feeling is that kind of state of gratitude, right? Its signature is you receive something that you love, or something that you really enjoyed just happened to you, or really brought you joy, just really is happening to you, or just happened to you. So its signature is that you've received something, right? So it is the ultimate state of receivership, gratitude. I believe that. And when you're truly feeling gratitude, your body is your unconscious mind. It's programmable by the conscious mind. And the body really can't tell the difference between a favorable experience that's happening to you in real life and what you're imagining or feeling in that moment. To the body, it doesn't know the difference. So in that state of receiving, it's so much easier to actually believe in a new future in that energy, in that state, than feeling the feelings that we just discussed when you don't feel good. You can't see that vision of the future when you're feeling those feelings and thinking those thoughts. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm saying that's reality. You got to think greater than your body. You got to think greater than your circumstances, right? And you got to keep doing that over and over again, right? So whatever we envision, or whatever we even tell ourselves, or whatever we expose ourselves to in terms of information, eyes open or eyes closed, whatever we rehearse in our mind in that elevated state, if you're truly present, then the brain and body begin to change as well by rehearsing how you would live if you could get beyond your kidney disease. What you would do, the doctor on the stage was telling us all the things she did every day in that state, the thoughts that she really, really wanted to master and thoughts she wanted to remaster. She was more prone to believe in the outcome when she was feeling those elevated feelings, because those are the feelings that connect her to her future. The feelings that she feels and the memories and the reality and what we're reminded of in terms of our body is remembering who we are still currently. But here's the cool part. I used to think on some level that it may just change all at once for a person. And what we're discovering on our research, Adrian, is that people who go to a week-long event for 7 days and they go all in, they're changing every day. And some of those people actually don't even believe that they're changing. But they are. And there are people that say, I'm not doing it right, and their body's actually changing as well. And that's the majority of the people. They just keep going, right? So we know then that every day, if we do this properly, the experiment for me would be if I could really wrap my heart around my future and feel the feeling of gratitude of what it would be like to be healed. And I'm going to practice feeling gratitude to the point where I actually feel enough of it that I could actually imagine what that future would look like. I would be combining a thought and a feeling, an image and an emotion, a stimulus and response, and I would be conditioning my body into that future. And you got to keep doing it until the body memorizes that emotion, right? That's what conditioning is. It's not the body becomes the mind. The mind is now in the body from that chemical, from that thought. So then if you do that properly and you feel the feelings of your future, okay, let's just break this down, Adrian. The epigenetic model of reality says that genes don't create disease. It's the signal going to the cell that selects and instructs the genes. And it's the environment that signals the gene. Okay, so what's the end product of an experience in our environment? Well, the end product of any experience in our environment is how we feel. It's the emotion. That's the payoff. Okay, so by feeling the feeling of your future, of gratitude, of that future, and the body's believing it's in that reality, right? It's so objective, it doesn't know the difference. If you're truly feeling the feeling of your future in the present moment, then it's very possible that you're signaling genes ahead of the environmental experience in three-dimensional reality. And genes make proteins, and proteins are responsible for the structure and function of your body, and the expression of proteins is the expression of life. So you could actually begin to upregulate genes that may not be the genes that heal your kidney disease, but at least strengthen your immune system and start releasing all these wonderful metabolites that start getting your body back into homeostasis and balance. That's not the end, but I would do it as an experiment just to see if any of my symptoms would change. I wouldn't be going for healing my disease. That's just like saying I'm going to run a marathon and I haven't run a mile yet. No, I'm going to see what it would be like if I truly practice this. If I notice any changes, like, hey, my back, the referred pain in my back isn't there today. Wow, that's weird. Hey, I'm sleeping a little better. Hey, I don't have that taste in my mouth anymore. Whatever it is. Hey, something's changing. Okay, now the experiment's working here. Okay. I guarantee you just need one of those. Even from my own personal experience and with my own injury, I just needed just one of those. The moment I had one of those, I was just like, just let me notice a change. Just any change, I'll take it. If there's a change, I'm going to keep doing this. And you start making those small conditionings between that thought and the feeling, you're knocking on the genetic door. And if meditation is to become familiar with, you keep conditioning your body to be mind of that future, you're going to start feeling better. And if you keep doing that every day, you're going to get better. You're going to become better. And it's not a linear process, Adrian. I can tell you, healthy people have their own challenges, their own diseases. They're just not aware of them. And a lot of those diseases are in their mind and in their heart. All of us have them. And so now you have a condition where it's going to cause you to have to stay present. It's going to cause you to have to stay more aware. It's going to cause you to kind of think a little bit more, remember a little bit more, assign more meaning to what you're doing, study a little bit more, get involved, practice a little bit more. Not for the healing, but what do I have to change about myself, once again, in order for for me to become healed. Okay, I doubt. Okay, now you're out of the bleachers, you're out of the stands, you're out of the stadium, you're on the playing field now. You're in the game. Okay, that's healthy. There are many people that never believed that this work could work for them. They believed it could work for everybody else. They didn't believe that they could heal. That physician on the stage this weekend taught me a lot. She just changed. She just, with the same intensity that she used to become a doctor and study and a resident and run a practice and a family, and with the same intensity that she succeeded in her life, she turned all of that in on herself. And she showed up like every day and became worthy. So it's a process. It's a process. Just look for the small wins by just saying, okay, let me review why I'm doing this. If I can't think greater than how I feel, I better start practicing feeling something else so I can think equal to that feeling. And gratitude's one of those things that really.
So, according to Dr. Joe, those who have been successful at this work have done it by overcoming themselves. It's always about coming up against yourself. It's about dealing with your negative emotions and your negative programming and believing in your future and believing that it's possible to heal yourself that can cause the healing to happen. So you have to have an amplitude of energy that's greater than the fear and the doubt that you have. And you must practice the feeling of what it would be like to be healed. It's the environment that signals the genes. That's called epigenetics. In other words, you have control of how your body responds because it responds to your thoughts and your feelings. He also talked about how we have to be happy with small wins and that gratitude is key. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And if you feel so inclined, please leave a comment below. And now, go create a great day or night. Thank you.